Hey, my name is Charles and I'm 66 years old. For most of my life, I believed that family meant love, respect, and loyalty. I spent 4 decades working hard, building a life that would make my son proud and give him a comfortable future. But one evening, that belief shattered. My daughter-in-law, Lisa, screamed at me for refusing to give her my credit card, then flung scalding tea straight into my face. As I wiped my burning skin, my son stood frozen, saying nothing. That night, everything I thought I knew about family changed. Before I tell you how I went from being humiliated to taking back everything I had built, I want to know, what would you do if your own family treated you this way? Would you forgive them, or would you cut them off forever? Let me know in the comments, and also tell me which city and country you're watching from, so I can thank you personally. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true stories like this. I have always been a man of discipline and order. I worked as an accountant for over 40 years, living a frugal life, saving carefully, and avoiding unnecessary luxuries. I wanted to make sure that when I retired, I wouldn't be a burden to anyone. When my wife Margaret passed away 8 years ago, I felt like my world had been ripped apart. But I kept going for my son, Andrew. He was all I had left. I wanted him to have a good life, a family of his own. So when he married Lisa, I welcomed her into our family with open arms. I even gave them my house as a wedding gift and moved into the guest room, believing that living together would bring us closer. For a while it did. I cooked Sunday breakfasts, played with the grandchildren, and watched Andrew beam with pride as he built his own career. But gradually, I noticed changes. Lisa had expensive tastes. At first, she would just ask me to pick up little things here and there, a fancy handbag for her birthday, a new phone for the kids. I didn't mind. After all, I had money saved, and seeing her smile reminded me of Margaret's kindness. Then she started using my credit card regularly. Just for groceries, she'd say, but the receipts told a different story. Spa appointments, jewelry and clothes worth hundreds of dollars. One day, I sat Andrew down and told him gently, "Son, I don't mind helping, but Lisa needs to be mindful. You two should budget your own expenses." Andrew nodded, but nothing changed. In fact, it got worse. Lisa began to treat my money like an endless supply. Finally, after finding out she had charged over $2,000 on luxury items in a single month, I had enough. I called the bank and cancelled the supplementary card. When Lisa found out, she stormed into my room. "Did you cancel my card?" "Yes," I said calmly. "Lisa, you and Andrew are capable adults. It's time to handle your own expenses." Her jaw tightened. "You'll regret this." That evening, the family gathered for tea in the living room. Lisa sat across from me, glaring. Suddenly, she stood up, grabbed the teapot, and flung the remaining tea into my face. The hot liquid burned my skin and drenched my shirt. I gasped and stumbled back. Andrew jumped to his feet. "Lisa," but he didn't come to me. "He didn't defend me," Lisa shouted. "If you can't even support this family, get out of this house." I looked at Andrew, waiting for him to say something, anything, but he just stared at the floor. The next morning, my suitcase was waiting by the door. Andrew stood nearby, avoiding my gaze. "Dad," he said softly, "things are too tense right now. Maybe you should find your own place for a while." My chest tightened. "Andrew, this is my house. I gave it to you so you wouldn't have to struggle, not so I could be thrown out like garbage." He swallowed hard. "It's just for the best right now." I walked out with my bag, each step feeling heavier than the last. That night, I checked into a cheap motel. The room was dark, musty, and cold. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the cracked wallpaper. My face still burned from the tea, but the pain in my heart was worse. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lisa's angry face, Andrew's silence, and Margaret's photograph on the nightstand back at the house. Within a week, I found a small room for rent on the poorer side of town. The ceiling leaked, the plumbing rattled, and the neighbors argued loudly at night. I ate instant noodles to save money. One day, while walking past my old house, I saw through the window that Lisa was hosting her friends, laughing loudly. I spotted my old credit card, the one I had cancelled, lying on the table. I realized she must have maxed it out before I shut it down. That night I sat in my room, staring at Margaret's photograph. "Would you let them do this to you?" I whispered. In my heart, I heard her answer, "No. Stand up for yourself." Over the next few weeks, I forced myself to take back control. I started doing part-time tax consultations for small businesses. It wasn't much, but it gave me a sense of purpose. At night, I kept thinking about all the sacrifices I had made, the house I had gifted Andrew, the vacations I had paid for, the education I had funded. And this was my reward? One afternoon, a neighbor from my old street called me. "Charles, I thought you should know. There's a wild party at your house. Strangers everywhere, music blasting. I don't think Lisa or Andrew care about the place at all." My stomach turned. That house wasn't just bricks and mortar. It was where Margaret and I had raised Andrew, where every memory of our family was built. That night, I called Mr. Harris, my old lawyer and friend. When I explained everything, he asked me a question that changed everything. "Charles, do you even realize you're still the legal owner of that house?" I was stunned. "What do you mean?" "I gave it to Andrew. You never transferred the deed. The house is still in your name. You have every legal right to reclaim it, and to evict them if you want." The idea felt heavy but empowering. For several nights I wrestled with my decision. Could I really throw my own son out of the house? Would Margaret approve? Then I remembered her words the night before she passed. "Promise me you'll never let anyone treat you like you don't matter." I called Mr. Harris back. "Prepare the papers." We drafted an eviction notice and a demand for repayment of funds Lisa had taken without my consent. But I didn't just want to mail them. I wanted to confront them face to face, so I waited until they hosted another family dinner. I arrived just as they sat down. Andrew looked shocked. Lisa scowled. "What are you doing here?" I walked in calmly and placed the legal documents on the table. "You wanted me out," I said, my voice steady. "Now it's your turn. You have 30 days to vacate the property. After that, the locks will be changed." The room went silent. Lisa leapt to her feet. "You can't do this." "We live here." "You live here because I let you," I said firmly. "You threw me out of my own home, burned me, humiliated me, and expected me to keep paying for your lifestyle. That ends tonight." Andrew stood, his face pale. "Dad, please." "No, Andrew," I interrupted. "You had your chance to stand up for me. You chose to stay silent." Lisa's face turned crimson. "We'll fight this." Mr. Harris stepped forward. "You're welcome to take it to court, but the deed is clear. You have no legal claim." Lisa's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. Andrew's shoulders slumped. "Dad, I'm sorry. I should have defended you. I let this happen. For a moment I saw my little boy again, the one Margaret and I raised with love." "You have 30 days, I repeated, then turned and walked out. Within a month, Lisa and Andrew moved into a small rented apartment. The house was a mess when I returned. Broken furniture, stained carpets, and piles of garbage left behind. But I wasn't angry. I rolled up my sleeves and started cleaning. I repainted the walls, fixed the garden, and restored the house to the warm home Margaret and I had built. A few weeks later, Andrew came by. He looked different, tired, thinner, and quieter. "Dad," he said, his voice breaking, "I've learned my lesson." Lisa has too. "She's been working, we're budgeting, and we're trying to rebuild." "I'm sorry for everything." I looked at him for a long time. Finally, I nodded. "You can visit. But this time you'll respect this house." And me. Tears filled his eyes. "I promise." From that day on, Andrew began coming every weekend, helping me with repairs. Even Lisa eventually came, humbler and quieter than before. "If you were in my place, would you forgive your daughter-in-law or shut her out of your life forever? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life stories that remind us never to stop standing up for ourselves.